What's up, nerds? What's up, nerds? Goz Master here with another Magic the Gathering puzzle quest. Today's quest, Nicol Bolas, the Planeswalker bundle. I'm going to be going over the brand new tricolor Bolas that's in the vault right now for IRL cash, $29.99 American USD dollars. I'm going to be sharing with you exactly my thoughts, the gameplay, and is he worth picking up for the IRL cash or gold if you're watching this in the future. Before we get into any of that, as always, appreciation and gratitude to my friends over at WEBCORE. I appreciate you guys. I hope that you all, WEBCORE and viewer alike, had a wonderful holiday season, a fantastic new year, and you're looking forward to a fantastic, powerful, epic, and grandiose 2025, because I'm in for it, and I think it all starts with Nicol Bolas Planeswalker bundle. So again, thank you, WEBCORE, for sponsoring the channel and this video and giving me access to this walker to play with here today. So what do you get when you pick up Nicol Bolas Planeswalker bundle for $29.99 USD? You get 2,500 runes, 3 packs, red, blue, black, and you get some 50 gold and 120 pinks. You get additional stuff if you're VIP. Itty, what itty. But let's take a look at the Planeswalker himself, shall we? All right, so before we begin here, I'm actually going to be referring a lot to my Planeswalker review statuses that I used in my last couple of videos. Feels like it's been a minute since I shot just a regular face from the cuff video. So I'm going to be going over the letter grades and everything else that we go over here, so you got an idea of where this walker ranks when it's all said and done and where he ranks on my overall tier list. Final note before we start, I will be putting out a tricolor and colorless walker review sheet similar to what I did for mono and dual color walkers. I know I say that every year and I haven't gotten one out, but I will be doing one for this one simply because we have a lot more tricolor walkers over the last year than we had before, and you always knew Dakin was at the top.
I'm at the top.
But I think we might have a new one. We'll see. That said, let's get into it. Nicol Bolas Planeswalker, 135 life. That is an S tier level of life. Anything over 130 is S tier. Very well done. In this case, we have 3 abilities. Give up your dreams for 10 loyalty. Each player discards from their hand all cards that cost 15 or more. Draw 3 cards. Those cards gain X mana. X is the number of cards discarded this way. I have lots of thoughts on that. I have so much to say about that ability, it made my shirt change colors. All right, off to number 2. Bow before me. 12 loyalty. If you control 2 or less creatures, gain control of target opposing creature. That creature gains haste and menace, otherwise destroy target creature. So if you can't fit it on your side of the board, destroy Buzz Lightyear. And finally, behold my mighty hand, 30 friggin' loyalty. Destroy all opposing cards. This effect can affect vanguards. Drain all mana from your opponent's hand. Deal X damage to your opponent's planeswalker. X is the number of cards destroyed this way, including the reinforcements. Almost had me. All right, and then mana bonuses are -2 to white and green, +3 to blue, +4 to black and red. Our typical mana spread for good tricolor walkers. The top of the top, 2 4s, a 3, and then 2 -2s. That's the way it looks right there. So far, all of that, I think that is an A+ mana bonus, I believe, and we'll get into what I think of the abilities here. But let's take a look at my peasant builds. I'm doing something new. I put a challenge inside of the Discord. You should get into the Discord, link in the description, where I've actually got a section called Noob-Friendly Deck Builds. And the concept behind the Noob-Friendly Deck Builds is that we're using specifically no more than 3 rares. Typically, I'm going to do 2 if I can, but no more than 3 rares inside the build, and the rest are common and uncommon cards. And I call them the Absolute Peasant Deck Challenge. So if you've got cards and decks builds, or if you have even Mythic and Masterpiece decks that you think are fantastic, can you build a deck that is powerful and wins and improves win rates in common and uncommon with just a couple of rares, 2 or 3 rares, regardless of Planeswalker, so newer players can use them for victory? I would offer you an opportunity to come into the Discord, comment, post those decks. I would like to see a picture of your deck.
Hey now.
All right, so Aurelia, the Law Above. There are 3 chase cards in Standard right now, my friends, for new players to go get right away at the rare level. That is Aurelia, the Law Above, Connecting the Dots, and Assemble the Players. If you have those 3 cards, really just those 2 supports, you, my friend, have a winning deck. The rest of it just needs to fill in the blank. So if you have Assemble, Connecting, and then Aurelia, the Law Above, you've got a really powerful start to an awesome deck. Here's the good news. Those are all rares from MKM, Murders at Karlov Manor. So if you're a newer player, Take your booster, every time you open a pack, you get a duplicate card. Ooh, so sad, sad face, I want new cards. Yes, but those crafting orbs, you can go use to craft cards out of the crafting section, booster crafting, and these 3 cards should be the first that you go after. I argue even above Galta, but if you got Galta, I'm not hating it either. Aurelia, the Law Above, is the featured card in this, along with Archpriest of the Shadows. Archpriest of the Shadows is one of my favorite, one of the few cards, I think like 2 or 3 cards available that are worth chasing in the rares level from the March of the Machines set. Archpriest of the Shadows is whenever a creature with Death Touch hits an opponent, then you can pull any permanent out of your yard and put it back on the yard for free. We like free stuff, and that's good. The rest of this is all common and uncommons. Jagged Barrens, 13 mana. It's a conversion support card. Deal 1 damage when it enters the battlefield and 4 to black or red. Same thing for 4 to black or blue, because those are all in colors. Scales of Shade. I love this card. I love this card. This card is such a good peasant, little pauper card, actually. Scale of Shale. 14 mana, spell card. It's black. At the beginning of your turn, if this card is in your hand, reduce this card's cost by 1. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink and shield counter 1. The lifelink is critical, but the shield counter 1 is really what it's all about. I can't tell you how many times I've had creatures on board that their removal is just stanky. And even if they do have multiple removals, cool, I'm taking 2 to get rid of my 1. That's great card advantage. I appreciate it. I like this card a lot. Ray of Ruin is one of the better removal spells in common. Johann Stopgap, I love quite a bit because it's untargeted and it takes the biggest thing off their side. With priority, Deadly Complication is uncommon. Destroy the first opposing creature, non-targeted removal. Breach the Multiverse is the 3rd rare spell in this because it feeds the yard for the synergy between her and Archpriest. Really, those are the 2 cards in this build that have the synergy that you could build around. Aurelia is just nice because of the life gain and everything else it does. And then another land at the beginning of your turn, convert 4 gems to the most present color on the board. Sandstorm Verge. Here's a look at the deck. Click, click. How does it do with this? And the key to this is Bolas. So since we only have lands, let's go ahead and get our lands on board. We're going to go ahead and go colorless into a drop sale of all the things we want. Yes, sir. All right, now I want to put the focus on the first ability here, first and foremost. So we're going to mute this down. We're going to actually charge it up. And we're going to attempt to... Oh yeah, let's go there. That sounds great. Yeah, 5 swap. I'll take that. Boopity boop boop. So we're at our first ability. Now I want you to notice something. Let's read the first ability again. Each player discards from their hand all cards that cost 15 or more. Now when I first read that, I was not very excited about implementing that because that meant I've got to ditch cards that cost 15 or more. However, what if I built a deck that doesn't have many of those? Or how do I take full advantage of that? And that's where this deck comes into play. Now, we don't have anything in hand right now that's going to do that, so we're not going to ditch anything. We're just going to draw the 3 cards. But what just happened was when I pushed the button, notice that none of their cards are ditched from hand either. That means they don't have any cards in hand that are over 15 to cast. That's an interesting bit of information to have whilst you're making your gameplay. So it provides you information that you otherwise didn't have. Now, I want you to note what I have here. Breach the Multiverse is 21 cast cost, and Archpriest is 15. So I drew those cards. I have them in hand now, but notice I didn't gain any mana because I didn't ditch any cards. So the mana gain isn't overly fantastic. It does come in a pinch sometimes, but you got to ditch a lot of cards to get it to do. But it does give you some insights as to what's going on with your opponent per se. So there you go. With that said, let's actually go through and we're going to go ahead and minimize our risk to our land there. Try to get a Cascade, didn't happen. Right, so now they put something on board. We've got our conversions that are coming in hot, hot, hot. Okay, there we go. We're not going to take the blue match for our own deal. Oh, great, great Cascade. All right, so we're going to give ourselves our own stuff. I would encourage using something that gives your creatures haste in this instance, but alas, I did not build that into this. Maybe take one of the lands out for a hasty mobile. Deadly Complication. We had a lot of removal here. I'm going to go ahead and try to feed my Breach. Let's go here. Notice we don't have anything in the yard, so let's get back up to our first ability and make that thing a reality, shall we? Great Cascades. And this is one of the advantages if you're playing with a lot of lands. Like I think I'm playing with 3 lands in here. It limits your flexibility and deck resourcefulness, and basically forces the rest of what you have outside of your combo winner to be removal, so you're not getting pwned. But the other side of that too is it allows you to get all the conversion you want outside of right away. So if you don't have some of the rarer lands like Leyline of the Guild Pack or Sunken Citadel, which are the two best land, I know Leyline's not a land, but the two land effects that I like to play with most in my builds, it gives you something to start with. Now, Aurelia the Law Above is in my yard, so thanks to Breach, I get to go pull that out. And I get to notice that I only had 2 creatures in my build, so I'm going to go ahead and take Stingerback Terror, because it's a big boy. And I'm going to go ahead and give our Aurelia the life link, which she doesn't have. She has gain life 6 for every attack. And now she's got life link, and she has the shield counter. Let's go ahead and take another Aurelia, make her bigger. And the reason I want to buff her up is because she is a non-token creature that Greg will typically prioritize with his removal. And because I have that, outside of exile, because I have that shield counter on her, she probably will survive the turn, which is very exciting, my friends. Very exciting. Let's do this. Boop. Boop. We're pretty much in control right now. We're going to destroy their creature. Do they have anything else on board? I think they have a land or whatever that is there, but I can't hit that with my removal. Ray of Ruin should take care of that, though. I'm going to go ahead and take another land that I have abundance of. They got destroyed. That's another thing, too. When your lands are matching all over the place, you have a tendency to knock the shields off them bad boys and kick them into the yard. Archpriest will allow you to go get those and put them back on the yard. I love Archpriest. I actually played with her a little bit before and was like, oh, okay, she's fine. And then it was Maynard that actually did a deck spotlight on her, and she's one of my absolute favorite play styles now to go with. And there's so many different walkers now that feed the yard with their first ability. She's just an easy add to anyone that's running black with those. And you can see we're well on our way to demonstrating Lord Skibbity Paps over here. Let's go. Cool. He's got a handful of cards. I've got a handful of cards. All of mine have mana. Here's the downside to the first ability. Doesn't care how much mana you have in hand. I use that ability. Nobody ditches anything. Do I not have anything over 15? I don't. None of my cards have over 15. But neither is what Skibbity Paps is running. So very interesting indeed, my friends. I'm going to ditch a Deadly Compilation. I'm going to ditch a Ray of Ruin. And I'm going to do my first again. It's going to ditch a card. I'm going to draw 3, and they're going to gain 1 mana each. Yep, 1 mana each. So you can see how it is. You have to ditch the 15 plus card, then you get the impact. He's got nothing in his hand currently that fits that. Probably could, there's so much control in this build, I could probably get rid of one of my removal spells, but I'm always a little apprehensive of that. Here's the thing with Archpriest of the Shadows. So you select her, and when she comes into play, whoever has an attack yet, that's who you TIG with your ability. It pumps them up, but it gives them the death touch. Now in this case, we just win, but if it were an earlier turn, her coming into play, then that secondary creature would be able to get the things. Ideally, you want to synergize stuff that makes your creatures have death touch. Rite of the Moth is absolutely one of the best cards for that. Not only is it reanimated, but it also gets some lifelink and death touch. I would use that in substitute of the Shale card. There you go. Let's go do the rest with my Mythic build. I got something to show you. Let me show you something. This is my card. Others may play with my card. It's because I gave them permission. I give you permission if you pull this card, play it. It's an awesome card. But this is my card. Mystical Teachings, 9 mana, spell card, blue-black. And it has a flashback from the yard for 14. Pick one of the first 2 different spell cards that is not named Mystical Teachings from your library. Fetch that card. That card gains full mana. We like full mana. We're going to go Confiscate, the card that outcried from the peoples. This is too strong. I'm going to demonstrate whether it is or is not too strong in this playability. Portal to Phyrexia, if it's in the yard, it's mine. Tyvar to give all the things haste. Coerce to kill, an uncommon card. Yes, I want your things. Breach the Multiverse, of course, because we want to put things in the yard. Ripples of Undeath. This card is in my is from PM2. I just pulled this one. 13 mana. Enchantment. At the end of your turn, destroy the first 7 cards of your opponent's library, then draw a card. Now, if they have 20 cards in their yard, mill 20, the beginning of your turn, gain 10 loyalty. Very important to ramp us up into that 3rd ability because it takes a lot to get to. Chaos Warp is the best removal spell in Standard. Assimilation Aegis is just stupid good. And Archpriest of the Shadows, again, because I like taking things from the yard and putting them on board. So this is the big boy version of the deck I just played for you a second ago. But this really leans into his Steal Yo Girl stuff. And you know I love steal your girl. I drink your milkshake.
Stop crying, you sniveling. Stop your nonsense. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
We like that card, so let's just go ahead and take it. Let's go ahead and use our secondary ability. So if you control 2 or less creatures, which I do, gain control of target opposing creature. That creature gains haste and yada yada. So we're going to take it. Comes into our hand. Here's WEBCORE. Come here. So here's the thing. If I have Aegis on the board, and they have a creature on the board that's disabled, and I take that creature, it disables the taken creature until they put another creature on board that Aegis will then attach its stuff to. Does that make sense? Can we fix that? That's really annoying. If I take your girl, I want to go dancing with your girl. I don't want to wait on your girl. I ain't trying to sit around and waiting for her to get ready. Come on, I want to take your girl. Let's go. All right, that's enough of that. All right, so now they've got a full fist. They've got their Omni loops on par on deck. Let's go. Omni away, my friend. Omni the tar out of it. Put a big, massive stack on board. I want to demonstrate the third ability really hard.
Hey now.
They're going to die, aren't they? They're going to die. They're going to kill themselves. Oh, Greg, you buffoon. I think he keeps hitting himself with Peer. He keeps hitting himself with Peer because he can't target me with Peer.
Such an idiot.
Okay, so he has his own assimilation Aegis. He made a copy of my stuff, is what it is. He's got his own ripple. So he's got everything I have in my... He took my girl. Wait a minute. I didn't approve this. You cheeky monkey. So he's got that. He's got this, which is not reinforced. He's got this, which is reinforced. So you can tell right here, this is reinforced. Yes? So that's 1 in addition to that. So there's really 2 assimilation Aegises. So if I use my third, this all should account for all the creature token tax too. It's going to destroy all opposing cards. This effect can affect vanguards, right? So, and it does damage equal to all of the reinforcements. Haha, so let's double check that, shall we? So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and that's it. So we should do 4 points of damage to them by doing the third. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3 destroyed, but it only did 3 points of damage, as you just clearly saw. So this is also happening for creatures as well. So it's not actually doing the full damage to the walker or to your opponent based on reinforcement. So if they have a big pickle stack, then this would do something to them that would be pretty significant to be a good game ender. As you can clearly see, the only thing you're really using that for is for wiping their board if you get behind on stuff, whatever. It's still a nice removal function, but for 30 loyalty, not so much, my friend, not so much. Okay, so a minor tweak here before I get into my next battle. I took out Coerce to whatever, and I'm putting in Necromantic Summons. It's an Origins card, 6 mana. Both yours and your opponent's last creature to be destroyed is returned to the battlefield. Let's see if that speeds up our Snatch Your Stuff play. Let's give it a go. So we're going to get some hasty hasties. Oh, we like 5 swaps. Did I tell you how much I love 5 swaps? They're like free mana to me. They're like free, full, powered whatever. So let's just go ahead and do another one. I like that. Confirm Mystical Teachings. Now we're ensuring that we have what we're looking for. Let's go to Chaos Warp. We're not going to cast it right now because we don't know what they've got. Chaos Warp is also another benefit too because we can take cards from them that are, you know, potentially stuff we want to do. I guess actually, I'm really curious what this does. Does this just sit in hand? Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. And we're going to go ahead and use Chaos Warp because I want to see what they got, my friends. Vivian on the hunt. I'll take a Vivian. Sure, why not? Come on, Ren. Today, please. Today. And I can't target it with my secondary ability. Look at this. But it'll let me spend the loyalty. Hey, WEBCORE, no. Please don't do that. I just wasted all my loyalty. I would have rather used my first ability. Okay. Okay, man. That ain't cool, bro. That ain't cool. All right, so let's do this. Let's do white, hopefully red. Nope. Nope. Let's go ahead and do this. It is enough. We're going to Chaos Warp. We're going to destroy that thing because it's going to be brutal to me. They don't have anything on board anyway, so let's go ahead and take let's take the Liliana Guild Pack. We're going to convert and destroy the board. I know that destroys my support, but that's okay. It's getting rid of their stuff. It makes them start over. I didn't like the way that started, my friend. Now this should be available to draw because they should have something in yard. Yes, that creature was destroyed. Yeah, there's no creature in my yard. That's why it won't let me cast it. Interesting. Let's go here. Maybe we get a black drop. Oh, their turn. My turn. 5 swap. We like those. Okay, we're going to use... Oh. When a creature card you control is destroyed during your turn, fetch the first creature card from your library with mana cost that. Alright, whatever. Destroy the top 5 cards of your library, return the last creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, I like that. That's good. Not a creature in there so far. Let's go 5 swap. I don't know what's happening here. 4 swap. Cascade, we'll take that. Another Chaos Warp. There she is. There's my girl. What's up, baby? Actually, now we can do our first ability. Boop. It's going to ditch 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in yard. Now that we have a creature in the yard, we draw 4 cards. They gain 7 mana because that's all that was ditched. So it does include their cards because we ditched 3, they ditched 4. Cool. All right, we're going to go ahead and do that again for this. Actually, I don't want to do this right now because I'm just going to give them a free creature, and I don't want to do that. I want to take your girl. I want to give you another girl. Yep, let's do it here. I still have the hasties. Yes, I do. Oh, I don't have the hasties. That's a different Vanguard. I am not playing this deck well at all. This is like I'm just playing this horribly, horribly wrong. Okay, but I do have my secondary loyalty. Let's do this. Let's just do this. Oh, Confiscate's the other card I'm looking for. But whatever. Everybody's got haste now. We have it. Destroy the top 5 cards. Let's go here, see if we get lucky and get into a red drop. We did not. They get a card in the yard. We get another card in the yard. But I'm going to give her Death Touch. Now watch this, because she's got Double Strike. I'm going to take an Assimilation Aegis, put that on board. Hi there. We're going to take a Tyvar's Jubilant Brawler to get some hasties for the future. She's doing a double strike. I'm going to reinforce my ripples, question mark. I believe I will. And we're going to hold off. All right. Go on, Ren. What do you got? Well, you did a lot of damage to me. I didn't like that. But we're getting all of our mana back. And we're just going to take your girl. All we're going to do is just take your girl. Now again, Assimilation Aegis. Don't like that at all. We're going to try to give her Death Touch. Did not. Give her Berserk. We're going to go here. Blip. That should be enough, question mark. It is. I'm going to go ahead and take an Archpriest of the Shadows. I'm going to give her the Death Touch. I'm playing in Legacy, obviously. That's why these cards are coming out this way. I'm going to take a Portal to Phyrexia for my first. My second will be a Portal to Phyrexia just to make sure I have enough. There you go. All right. And yeah, I'm going to Portal to Phyrexia them because I don't have any creatures in yard. I will take another Samut. And I think that's game. And I still didn't demonstrate Confiscate. This is what I mean by Confiscate is not this OP of a card. If you're playing with any creatures at all, you're taking one of their creatures for 9 loyalty. Cool. But for 12 more loyalty, I could do it with Bolas's directly. Maybe I don't get all of the extra benefits. Ooh, fancy. But I've played it with enough of the card that it doesn't happen as often as you'd think. On that note, let's go ahead and do our first ability. Let's ditch all their stuff. Look at that. Look at how many cards they get lose. And we draw 3 more, and they get what? 6 mana? 7 mana? 7 mana? 6 mana? Well, one of them got full up. Oh, cool. So we could do this, right? And then we can Confiscate. And then I tattoo them. And then we kill them. All right, and then we go here. Is that enough? It is enough. Boop, they get a creature. I'm going to go ahead and do that to... Oh, he already has Death Touch, so I'm going to give it to them. I should be able to cast my card now. Confiscate. Oh, I have 3 more creatures, though, right? Assimilate Aegis. That's the other side with Confiscate. If you have 3 cards already, I can't just take it. I got to have only 2 card slots directly. All right, first one hits. Whatever. It's like whatever. Portal to Phyrexia, Assimilation Aegis for... It doesn't matter. I win. That's game. It's game. Just game. It's game. This is what Steal Your Girl Tribal looks like, and you don't even need it. Confiscate early game, maybe, if they get off to a very quick start, but mid to late game, you don't need it. Just Archpriest of the Shadows and do all the... All right. What are my final thoughts? Do I like them? I do. All right, so what are my final thoughts on Nicol Bolas's Planeswalker? Planeswalker, I really like him. I like him actually a lot. 135 life, as we said already, that's an S tier. Give Up Your Dreams is overcosted at 10, but I thought I was really going to hate this first ability. I do like that each player ditches cards over 15, so it's a bit of hand hate. And it's functional hand hate, unless you're going against something that's really low to the ground. You're typically going to be hitting cards that are pretty significant. And if you're doing Portal to Phyrexia or Archpriest of the Shadows or anything that's bringing stuff back from the yard, anything that's reanimating, this becomes a nice little yard fill. I didn't expect it to be that functional. It's very clever. I like it. The other side of that, you get to draw the 3 cards, so you reload, and it gains the mana from it, including the stuff that ditched from them. I would have liked to have had that be 8. It would be probably an S tier ability because of what it does for the draw and the mana. Maybe an A+. As it is, I give it a B+ right now. Bow before me. For 12 loyalty, I love it. It's all about the secondary ability, although the first feeds the second. If you control 2 or less creatures, gain control of target opposing creature. That creature gains haste and menace. So this is very similar to what Sorin, Hungry Baby, does with his ability. His first ability is, for 12 loyalty, I believe, is go and take their girl, put it to your side of the board. Now what it does is it disables it after a turn. So A, it doesn't get haste, it doesn't impact right away. Then you gotta wait another turn. So you've got some slow to roll impact. This is actually much better than his ability, and I love his ability, so maybe I'm using this one instead. I can go take the deck I was running with him and run it here. Except this one doesn't have access to white, and the white's kind of the fun part. I don't know, man. This one's pretty amazing. And then, if I don't have room on my side, it allows me to destroy it. So at the worst case scenario, it's still removal. This is head and shoulders better than Sorin, Hungry Babies, Ravenous Neonate. It's much better than his ability, and I love that ability. I like this one a lot more. I think this is just fundamentally all the way around much, much better. Well done. And then we get into Behold My Mighty Hand. I want behold my mighty hand. 30 loyalty. You lost me at 30 loyalty. Listen, for 30 loyalty, I better have my car cleaned. I better have my kids picked up from school. My laundry better be pressed and folded. That's a lot of loyalty. It's going to take me forever to get there unless you're using cheats to ramp your way up. Another one is Steam Core Scholar. Throw him into your peasant builds. Behold the Mighty Hand. Destroy all opposing cards. Period. This effect can affect vanguards. Immediately, that's better than Liliana's third ability where it destroys all cards. I don't think hers impacts vanguards, but we'll have to double check. Editor, post it right here if I'm right or wrong. Secondarily, so that first line is better than Liliana's as I remove all. It's better than Lil X as she destroys all creatures and cards and all permanents as well. I think hers is cheaper though, so I think I like Lil X's better, although I don't think it hits vanguards. Then we get to the second line. Drain all mana from your opponent's hand. This is very a la Jace Reawakened's third ability, right? So it's got both of those wrapped up into one ability immediately, but we're not done yet. Then deal X damage to your opponent's Planeswalker. Oh my gosh, it is like Jace Reawakened. Oh my gosh, it's going to be the greatest ultimate in the game. X is equal to the number of cards destroyed this way, including their reinforcements. And as you clearly saw, that was not the case. Even if when they do get that fix, and it is including reinforcements, it's still not going to be enough significant damage. You're going to have, what, 9 creature stacks and maybe a couple of supports here and there. So you might be able to do 10, 12 points of damage, 14, 15 points of damage. Ooh. It really is about the first 2 processes. It's all about destroying every card that they have, which is nice, including Vanguard. That's a bonus. I'm not going to argue. That's very, very nice. But in addition to that, draining the mana out of Helm, pretty powerful, very oppressive, strong to be able to use your loyalty. But that third thing as a finisher, it's not strong enough. It's just not strong enough. For 30 loyalty casting cost, if you did 40 to the face minus whatever you did, or have it set up very much like Jashiok's where it's 45 minus whatever mana you drained, that would be cool. As it is, it's not a strong finisher. And for what it does actually do impact-wise, even with the additional damage that it'll do once they fix the reinforcements bug, it's still not worth 30 in my opinion. It would be a great place if you're far behind and you need to reset the board. It's a great way to reset the board for 30 loyalty if it's a must. I've found myself a couple of different times playing against more sophisticated ambiguity decks. You can just focus on loyalty, nuke them, and then you're back in the race again. But it is still very good. I give it a B- for 30 loyalty. If it was 25, I'd probably give it an A-. And if it were anything under 20, it would be an S tier a deal. But it is what it is. And finally, the mana bonuses are fine. I like them just as they are. As I've said before, it's an A+ level mana bonus spread. Again, you add a little Sunken Citadel, you've got yourself an S tier mana spread all the way around. All in all, I gave Nicol Bolas a total grade of only 6 spells. Come on, WEBCORE, we need more than that. 5 supports, that's pretty low. And 8, what is Bolas going to do with 8 creatures? What are we doing with 8 creatures, people? All right, so I give that a, what do we give that? B. Hey, editor, I have to do the math. What did we give Nicol Bolas Planeswalker a grade of? Very nice. Someone did the math for me. Where do I rank him in comparison to the other Bolases? I really like this one. I like this one more than I thought I would, frankly. I'm probably going to be playing with this guy quite a bit. I think he's pretty comparable in all non-ability matters, but that secondary ability is very possessive, very dominant. I like that style of play. Bolas 1, Bolas God Pharaoh has the best A1, which is just straight up removal, which is great, especially for newer players. It's one of the better in the game. But I like this secondary better than than Bolas 3, which has been my go-to Bolas in the past. I admittedly don't play with him much, but this gives you a whole new perspective of removal. I'm not just destroying your creature as a last-ditch attempt if I don't have room on my side. I'm going to take it and beat you with it. I love that. That's great. And that third ability, although I'm complaining about it, is actually pretty significant. I might change my grade on it the more I play with it and find functional use for it because it is a nice solid board wipe. Just 30 loyalty is a lot.
30? Good Lord! That's a lot! Why don't you make that a 22 in a flesh wound?
That said, what do you guys think? Did you like him? Have you picked him up? How are you breaking him? As always, my friends, I appreciate you. I know you could be anywhere in the world. You chose to spend this time with me here. Get into the Discord. If you're not in there, what are you doing? We've got an incredible community of some of the world's best players of this game, all very tight-niched and happy to help feed you all of the advice and stuff that you need to make your playing a better experience, support you in choosing which decks to build to win more, and ultimately what cards and walkers to chase so that you too can have a successful campaign in your puzzle quest gem swapping, my friends. Oh! Until our next quest, I appreciate you. Swords up. Yeah, I like this guy. Man, I like him better than I thought I would. That's crazy. He's good. He's real good. Tonight is date night. I'm taking the missus out for a fine time on the town. Fellas, take your ladies out on date night. They deserve it. So do you. My kids tried to make me dinner the other night. They used like this off-brand substitute for my favorite spaghetti, and they thought I wouldn't notice, but I could tell right away it was an impasta.